Okay, guys. So we are now on to the last part for just all the view controller stuff. After this, we'll be going and implementing, connecting the view controller code over into the, what do we call this? We call the system code. It's a bit, we have terminology for everything and switches all the time. Like function and method mean the same thing. They're used interchangeably. Also, procedure, computer science uses a bunch of terms. So the next thing we're doing, and we'll have to add the transition, and that'll be an on-click thing, but that's more into the coding. So for now, we're not going to be transitioning over until later. So we get to the end. What do we do? Well, we need to congratulate the person who has made everything. You know, they got through this whole quiz that you set up. So we need a view. We need a few. What's a good way to say it? So the first thing you have is you have how many they completed. How many, let's say how many they got wrong, how many they got right, and how many they had in total. And that will be a good ending. So now this is going to be a little bit more complicated in constraints. We have 0, 0, 0, bam. Now let's do blue, and then we're going to do red, 0, 0, 0. Add that constraint in. Again, it's going to be yelling for just a little bit. And we're going to have a red, then again a 0, 0, 0, 0. For this one, let's, how does it feel? Feels not bad. We have all this connected. Now, one thing we can do, if clicked, and then I'll write these this way. Okay. So we can make these have equal widths. Okay, well that doesn't matter. Sorry, equal heights is what matters. Command Z again. Command Z, Z. So we need to have equal heights. And then equal heights. And that should work. And what we're actually going to do just to test it, just to make sure everything is fully working, we're going to make this the initial. Plus play. We don't have to click the backend button on this one because of how we had it set up. We're just testing to make sure this works. The other option is to do a stack view, which I'll show you guys actually have to do that now. Something very useful. So this, if this works, the only reason this will actually work is because of how simple it is. If we had two of these, it starts becoming an issue. And it's much better to use these things called stack views. But first we have to show you the normal way. The reason it's showing stack view here is a very simple stack view, and it's going to be an easy test for you guys to understand how stack view works. Look at that. That's not bad. And that will actually change based on what's there. So we have the equal spacing for it. So it looks nice. Now we're going to grab this entire thing. Now there's multiple options to clear constraints. Now I can clear a selected views constraint by just clicking on it and hitting clear constraint, and I'll clear all constraints related to that one connection. You notice the equivalent between the two disappeared. And that's because we deleted that constraints for that one. Now if we want to clear everything in this view, as you see it says all views in view controller. Click to clear that, and that will remove all of the view constraints. Now we're going to get these out of the way a little bit just so we can place the actual stack view. We do not want word. We can look up stack view inside of here, and actually let's make this a little bit bigger for all of us. In your vertical stack view, place it in. not that big looking at first. Let's just make sure this is nice and large. And I'm going to set up 3 of the constraints automatically. We'll set them up before we move on with it. Here are these 3 constraints. I'm going to set up the blue, the red, and the red inside of this stack view. And I want the blue up. And then we want this last one to be in the stack. There we go. I have all of them set up that way. Okay, now you're questioning, okay, this looks really weird. What's going on? Well, first off, let's set the last constraint. So hit to the right side, hit 0, and add that constraint. Okay, so it spreads all the way around. Now you're probably wondering, like, why is it choosing this? Well, it's just scale it to fill. It doesn't care how it's set up. We're telling the stack view right now, just fill it. And we're telling the distribute just to fill it. Now what's going to happen when we hit fill proportionally? Nothing. There's nothing inside there. It's just views. We hit fill equally. Then fill equally makes it equally fill. Look at that. It looks fantastic. So that's the stack view. All this does is lets us set up the view. I'll show you one option we can actually do with the stack view. We're not going to be using it, but if we put in 10, it adds 10 spacing into there. You'd have equivalent spacing throughout as many objects as you have there. Stack views do actually work very well inside of a scroll view as well if you set them up that way. So then we're going to add a label. It's going to be nice big labels because they're done with the quiz and we want to make sure that very important. And now here's a quick thing we're going to do. Now, you notice you've been seeing me able to select multiple views, but if I try to select this label and this label, I can't. Something to note is when doing mass selection, you can't select outside of a super view. So that is one thing to note, is if you're trying to select something and it's not working, check to make sure its super view is same super view, or else you won't be able to select them. We're going through and we're aligning them all horizontally and vertically in container. And let's make these fairly large. Now if you notice what's happening there, this is actually selecting both the view and the label. So that's why you also can't do it. So let's make this 60. Or no. We're going to throw another label up in the top corner there. I got 30. We're actually going to have 6 labels here, by the way. And we're actually going to go back and we're going to add something to one of the files. But for now, this label would be let's say we got 4 right, 5 wrong, and out of all of them, we had 9 questions. 4 fine doesn't mean anything right now to anyone, but it will in a bit. Let's change this all just to the white numbers. And you know with how big it's actually getting, let's increase the actual size. I want to make sure I think, yeah. So that is the white. Let's actually put that back to 60. Yeah, that's much better. So no matter how we do this, it's always going to be center aligned. Now, one thing we need to change is there are 2 numbers. So we have the center line here, 99. Okay, now it's auto doing it. Okay, good, it's auto doing it. I know sometimes with center alignment, it will Yeah, let's just do 18. So 9 right, 9 wrong. Now we need to add 3 more labels. Up here at the top. Then each of these is going to go 20 from each side. Have a width of 150, a height of 40. So then 20, 20, 150, and 40. Now there could be some overlap with this. That is one thing to note. To say overall, these methods so far have been what you would call the quick and dirty method. Now, what does that mean? It means we're getting this done to show how to get it done. We're not fully polishing up. To actually polish up all of this could take a very, very long time. Actually polishing up take triple the actual time to make. That's one thing, don't ever feel bad if you're coding, you have to go back and you have to change something. That's actually a normal part of coding. Almost all of us have to do that. So, correct. Questions? Correct. Questions? Total questions. Now we have to hook all this up together. Now, here we go. Now you guys are seeing an issue that we had with sizing. We're actually going to have to increase the constant for all of these just to make sure that they're all as equal as possible. And as you see the dot, that's why I was talking about using, sometimes you need to use this automatically adjustable font. But for this, we're actually more worried about typography. So how they're all laid out is more important. They have correct questions, incorrect questions, and total questions. Let's actually change this background color. Let's grab a yellow. Red, blue. No, teal fits the scheme, but we've never used red. I guess we're breaking the scheme anyway. So let's use a banana. Let's get rid of the color. Let's go grab the banana color. Oops, that does not look good. We can use a purple then. Or plum. There we go. So red, blue, and purple. So now when we press play, we should see that set up. They have correct questions, incorrect questions, and total questions. Now we need to hook everything up, and then that will be it for this segment of the tutorial. So we need to, again, go from manual. You can go all the way from the beginning of manual, or you can just go from controllers, and you can go to end view controller. Now give some spacing above your view to load. Then let's connect everything that's going to change. You only usually connect the outlets that you know are going to change. So this is correct label. This here is the incorrect label. And this is the total label. Okay, so now everything has been set up. All the views and controllers have been brought together. Now let's go edit. As I mentioned this, we're going to edit the one thing in the quiz, which is the ability to reset. This is actually a very important ability to do the quiz multiple times. And this will be for the view did load later on. Maybe the override. So we need to reset. We need to set the current correct and incorrect count. So what do we do? current question will equal to 0, and correct count equal to 0, correct count equal to 0. So it is done in the init. Well, we are going to be doing the reset. So normally we just init anyway, but how we're having it set up will make it on the app start will only create the list once. How we have it set up. That's where we're doing that. Okay. So we're going to leave off with this, and then I will see you guys at the next tutorial.